There's some magic there, Bha Kuta. In the traditional, it's more like, can they be constructive together, build wealth together? All it's very, very do things together. But I don't, I think in this day and age, what I look at it is the union of these two people capable of becoming something completely different? So remember, we saw the Dharma one where you have the higher noble purpose. It's sort of like that, but it's a lot deeper. That one is a purpose. That can be you have the same spiritual path. That's a higher noble purpose. That one can be you have a really big business concept together that you are willing to die and work for together and sacrifice your petty ego needs and his petty ego needs and work towards that main goal. So this one sounds like it, but it's not. This one is more with the elements, where what happens when you take water and you take fire? So what happens when you take fire and water together? You got one person with a lot of fire, one person with water. They can stay water and you can stay fire, and then you will constantly be in this, tug of war, because they're ready to run into buildings and you are just holding back and not. And they're like, why can't you go? And, all of that stuff that happens between couples. But this one is where the two are capable of transformation, where something brand new is born. What happens when you take fire and water together? You get steam. So both of them are no longer the element they started out with. It's a tough one. It's a tough one, but if you look at the goal of the relationship, to not dying to be me, not dying to be you, but dying to be us, which is what we all want, then it makes complete sense. You can't be us and me at the same time. You can't. And that's the hardest lesson of marriage. How do you do both? How do you get to do what you want? I know when I first got married, I believed the same thing. I thought, surely when you're so much in love, you get to be who you are. But no, neither party really gets to be who they are all the time, because if they are, then you're two separate entities. But so I look at this one as a more magical point, where you see this in astrology, in the Gandanta points, in the horoscope. If your planets are stuck right at the cusp of two signs, like Pisces and Aries, or Scorpio and Sagittarius, or Cancer and Leo, when they're on that cusp points, they call Gandanta. It's like a transformation point. It's painful, because believe me, for water to become earth, or fire to become air, it's not easy. It's really, really hard. That's why relationships are hard, because it's not about you. It's not about me. So in this one, when people have these 7 points, they are capable of letting go of their agendas, letting go of of each of them, and then creating a new agenda that is different from your agenda and my agenda, but it's something completely unique. Okay, so actually, if you get the first 2 points, you've already got really good 8 and 7. Okay, so you got your 15 points right there. So this one, traditionally, it was used more, can they do things together? Can they, work on projects together? Can they build wealth together? All of that stuff. But I look at it, because nowadays you can get into a relationship. Both of them are capable of making, both have jobs, and you don't have, they both are capable of making their own wealth. It's not necessarily they have to do it together, but I'm talking here about your personalities transforming, into some unimaginable thing that you didn't even know existed. And usually, honestly, if you have it, it's not going to happen in early part of your marriage or relationship. 20 years, 35, 25 years down the road, as you get older, your personal agendas are softening and softening and softening. And if you have more trust, then you can let them go. So usually I see this thing play out much later in life. That's why this one becomes very important You know, in the beginning, if you don't have this one, people say, oh, we're doing great. But 15 years down the road, you will see the problems coming up with this one, this missing one. So this is a very important one. It's called Bha Kuta. So, you know, even if you don't have your compatibility done, talk about this with your partner. What can we create that's not necessarily you or me, but something else? Another element. See how another element is evolving.